Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Leanne, and normally I would be putting out a what's for dinner video today, and I am still doing them, but I had a week where I didn't really have enough dinners for a video, so I'm saving those recipes up and I will include it in a future video. But I had put a poll out on my community tab and people seem to be interested in seeing some snacks. So that's what today's video is. These are some fun snacks that I made recently that I decided to share some ideas and recipes with you. So yeah, let's get started. So this first one is definitely a healthier snack and extremely easy. I've got some vanilla yogurt and I've got a cookie sheet that's lined with wax paper, and I just put out about however much I needed to get a thin layer, not like too thin, but a thinner layer on this cookie sheet. So I'm not really following a recipe here, but I had heard this idea and looked at several different recipes and decided it would work with what I had. So yeah, no specific recipe, but we're going to spread this out in a pretty thin layer, and then I'm cutting up some fresh strawberries, and then I also had some blueberries on hand. So this one actually turned out to be pretty patriotic, but you could use any fruit that you wanted. I do think I would use fresh fruit, but I guess it's maybe not necessary, but you want pretty small pieces. And I am just laying the fruit out and just kind of pushing them in a little bit gently into the yogurt. And I'm just making sure that when we break this all apart that there'll be fruit, hopefully like in every bite. So we're just making, I guess you could call it some like fruit and yogurt bark. Because I know like when I make this with like chocolate and other stuff, we call it candy bark. So we're going to call it yogurt bark. And we're just going to have that, lay that all out and then put that in the freezer until it is hardened. And then I broke it up into pieces and stored it in a Ziploc baggie. And it's a nice, refreshing, and pretty healthy treat. This next one is a ranch Chex mix. I will have a recipe linked below for you if you want to follow it, or if it's just easy for you to have something to like pin on Pinterest. But I really just use it for like the ratios as far as how much of the stuff to do. But you can use anything you wanted. I have those little chips there, these brown chips, garlic chips that I picked up from Walmart, corn Chex, rice Chex, or an off-brand, some peanuts, and then some pretzels. But you could make this all like gluten-free if you wanted. Get some gluten-free pretzels, and corn Chex and rice Chex are gluten-free. You could do any combination you want, but I'll have the recipe so you know how many cups worth. I think you want a total of 10 cups for this recipe of dry goods. You could do goldfish, whatever you want. We're going to stir in some 6 tablespoons of melted butter and then 1 package of ranch seasoning. I am using my homemade stuff, so I'm using about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And then we are just going to toss that until everything is well coated. And this is a nice switch up from the regular traditional Chex Mix. But like I said, you can also add in whatever dry goods you want. And then I'm just taking a parchment paper lined baking sheet, laying that out into a pretty even layer, putting that in the oven at 300 degrees for 10 minutes. Then you're going to take it out, mix it all together. Or not mix it all together, toss it around, and then try to get an even layer once again and put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes. If you are liking this video, please give it a thumbs up because that helps me out. It helps in the YouTube world. It helps me know what you like, and it helps YouTube know that you like it as well. Here is the Chex Mix. And this came out so good. It's really delicious. I am a little partial to the homemade ranch seasoning, but I'm sure it would be delicious with the store-bought stuff as well. But I will have the ranch seasoning recipe that I use in the description box below. So last but not least, we are making some banana bread. I had one that was in the freezer that I had thawed, which is why it looked a little less appetizing, and then 2 that were just really, really ripe. Now this recipe is a grain-free recipe. I don't know if that matters to you or not, but that's what this is. So I've got 3 medium bananas, and now I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of almond butter. You can also use peanut butter. I did spray the measuring cup first to help it come out a little bit easier. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we are going to mix that together really well until it is well combined. I don't know where I got this recipe originally. I have it written out in my recipe book now, so I don't know who to give credit to, but I will have this recipe linked below. I think I wrote this in my recipe book before I was doing YouTube, so I wasn't super worried about keeping track of where it came from. And then we're going to add in 2 eggs, one at a time, mixing in between each one. And now I'm adding in a half a cup of coconut flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, nope, I'm sorry, half a cup of coconut flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together until it is fully combined, and then fold in some chocolate chips, about a half a cup, but I don't measure chocolate chips. And then this trick I learned somewhere along the way, I don't remember who, but I am lining my loaf pan with parchment paper, and to make the parchment paper mold to your dish a little bit better, you crumble it up and then open it up, and it really does work. Now, this coconut flour bread is definitely a lot thicker than like a traditional one, so it doesn't really spread out. You just kind of have to smooth it out yourself, and it also won't rise the same as other ones. So you'll see when it's done, it's a little bit more dense, but it came out really, really good. We did put some chocolate chips on top and baked this at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That really, really does help me out. And everything will be linked in the description box below if you want to take note of any recipes. And that is it for today's video. So thanks for watching. See you next time.